Have you ever tried to change a habit, only to find yourself slipping back into old routines within weeks? It's frustrating, isn't it? You set goals, promise yourself you'll stick to them this time, and yet the momentum fades. What if the problem isn't your motivation or willpower, but the way you're approaching habits altogether? In Atomic Habits, James Clear offers a revolutionary perspective on building good habits and breaking bad ones. He reveals that small, consistent changes, what he calls atomic habits, can lead to remarkable transformations over time. This book is not about overnight success. It's about mastering the art of gradual improvement. Let's dive into the key ideas from this game-changing book. James Clear's journey to understanding habits began with a personal story of recovery and resilience. As a young man, Clear suffered a devastating injury during a high school baseball game. A bat swung loose and struck him in the face, fracturing his skull and leaving him in critical condition. His recovery was long and grueling, filled with setbacks and uncertainty. Yet, it was during this period that Clear began to understand the power of small steps. He couldn't make major strides overnight, but by focusing on tiny, consistent improvements in his physical and mental health, he eventually rebuilt his strength and even went on to play collegiate baseball. This experience became the foundation of his philosophy on habits. It's not about making huge, sweeping changes. It's about the compound effect of small, meaningful actions repeated over time. At the heart of Atomic Habits is the idea that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just as money grows exponentially over time through compounding, small habits accumulate and lead to significant results. The problem, Clear explains, is that most people focus on outcomes rather than processes. We set ambitious goals, like losing 20 pounds or writing a novel, but fail to design systems that make these goals achievable. Clear's central message is simple yet profound. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. This shift in focus from goals to systems is the cornerstone of his approach to habits. To make habits stick, Clear introduces the 4 laws of behavior change, which provide a framework for building good habits and breaking bad ones. The first law is to make it obvious. Habits are often tied to cues in our environment. So by designing your surroundings to support your desired behavior, you're more likely to succeed. For example, if you want to start eating healthier, you might place a bowl of fresh fruit on the kitchen counter while hiding junk food in a less accessible spot. The second law is to make it attractive. Clear emphasizes the importance of linking habits to positive emotions, as we're more likely to repeat behaviors that feel rewarding. This could mean pairing a habit you need to do with something you want to do, like listening to your favorite music while exercising. The third law is to make it easy. Clear dispels the myth that habits require enormous effort or willpower. Instead, he advocates for reducing friction and lowering the barriers to entry. If you want to read more, for instance, start by reading just 1 page a day. The goal is to make the habit so simple that it's nearly impossible to fail. The fourth law is to make it satisfying. Clear explains that immediate rewards are crucial for reinforcing habits. While the ultimate benefits of a habit may take time to manifest, finding small, immediate ways to celebrate progress can help you stay on track. For instance, checking off a habit tracker or giving yourself a small treat can create a sense of accomplishment and encourage consistency. Clear's approach to breaking bad habits mirrors these laws, but in reverse. To stop an unwanted behavior, you need to make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. If you're trying to reduce screen time, for example, you might make your phone less accessible by placing it in another room, turning off notifications, or using grayscale mode to make it less visually appealing. By reversing the cues that trigger bad habits and making them harder to engage in, you can gradually phase them out. One of the most powerful concepts in Atomic Habits is the idea of identity-based habits. Clear argues that the key to lasting change is not focusing on what you want to achieve, but on who you want to become. For example, Instead of setting a goal to run a marathon, you might adopt the identity of a runner. Every time you go for a run, no matter how short, you're casting a vote for this new identity. Over time, these small actions reinforce your sense of self and make the habit feel like a natural part of who you are. To illustrate this, Clear shares a compelling example of two people trying to quit smoking. When offered a cigarette, one person says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." The other says, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." The difference may seem subtle, but it's profound. The first response implies that the person still identifies as a smoker, while the second reflects a complete shift in identity. By aligning your habits with your desired identity, you create a stronger foundation for long-term change. Another essential idea in the book is the role of habit tracking. Clear describes how tracking your habits can create a visual cue that reinforces your progress. Whether it's marking an X on a calendar or using a digital app, the act of tracking provides immediate feedback and keeps you accountable. He also introduces the concept of the 2-minute rule, which helps you overcome procrastination by starting small. The idea is to scale down a habit to something that takes just 2 minutes to complete. For example, instead of saying you'll work out for an hour, commit to putting on your workout clothes. Once you've started, it's often easier to keep going. Clear's insights are supported by psychological and scientific research, which he presents in an accessible way. He discusses the role of dopamine in habit formation, explaining how the brain releases this feel-good chemical in anticipation of a reward. By designing habits that trigger dopamine release, you can create a positive feedback loop that keeps you motivated. He also explores the concept of habit stacking, which involves pairing a new habit with an existing one. For instance, if you want to build a habit of meditating, you might do it immediately after brushing your teeth. This strategy leverages the power of existing routines to anchor new behaviors. Throughout the book, Clear uses vivid examples to bring his concepts to life. He shares stories of athletes, entrepreneurs, and ordinary people who have achieved extraordinary results through small, consistent actions. One memorable anecdote involves the British cycling team, which transformed from mediocrity to dominance under the guidance of coach Dave Brailsford. By focusing on marginal gains, tiny, incremental improvements in every aspect of performance, the team won multiple Olympic gold medals and Tour de France titles. This story illustrates the power of compounding, a recurring theme in the book. Clear also addresses common pitfalls and challenges in habit formation. One of the most significant obstacles is the plateau of latent potential, where progress feels slow or invisible. He reminds readers that habits often take time to produce visible results. Much like an ice cube slowly melting as the temperature rises, the breakthrough comes when you reach the tipping point, where all those small efforts suddenly pay off. By staying patient and consistent, you can overcome this plateau and achieve lasting change. Another challenge is staying motivated over the long term. Clear explains that while motivation can spark action, it's systems and environment that sustain it. By designing your surroundings to support your goals and focusing on small wins, you can maintain momentum even when motivation wanes. He also emphasizes the importance of creating habits that align with your natural tendencies and preferences. For instance, if you're a night owl, trying to build a morning workout routine might feel unnatural and unsustainable. Instead, find a time and structure that works for you. In the concluding chapters, Clear reflects on the broader implications of habits. He argues that habits are not just tools for personal improvement, but building blocks for a meaningful life. Every habit you develop contributes to your overall trajectory, shaping who you become and what you achieve. By focusing on the process rather than the outcome, you can create a life that aligns with your values and aspirations. Atomic Habits is more than just a guide to habit formation. It's a blueprint for understanding human behavior and unlocking your potential. It's about recognizing that small changes, when compounded over time, can lead to extraordinary results. Whether you're looking to improve your health, build better relationships, or advance your career, the principles in this book offer practical and actionable strategies to help you succeed. As you reflect on the ideas from Atomic Habits, consider this. What small change can you make today that, if repeated consistently, will transform your life over the next year? Remember, it's not about being perfect or making drastic changes overnight. It's about showing up, taking small steps, and trusting the process. As James Clear reminds us, success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. With this mindset, you can create the life you've always envisioned, one small habit at a time.